Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Jennifer and this is Space with Jen, a space where I hope that we can talk about a lot of the challenges that we may be facing in a way that feels really practical. Today we have three piles that you can pick from. We have pile 1 here, pile 2, and pile 3. You can take as long as you need to see which pile you feel most drawn to. And if you feel drawn to more than one pile, then you may have two messages here today in this reading. Also, we have been doing a mental health check-in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. But if you'd like to just go ahead and skip to the reading, you can go to the description below and see the timestamp. So we're going to use this cute emoji scale here. Where would you place yourself? And you can pause the video to give yourself more time to think about this. And now that you have an emoji picked out, are you able to choose or decipher an emotion that you're feeling related to that emoji? So, for example, if you pick the green emoji, are you feeling confident or hopeful today? Maybe you pick the middle emoji because you're having a hard time feeling or just feel indifferent in general in this present moment. So, if you are having some difficulty with finding a word to place your emotion in this moment, here is the Wheel of Emotions. And you can use this to basically find a way to describe how you're feeling. And I always leave this linked in the description box if you find this helpful. But yeah, take some time if you need to put a word to what you're feeling and to the scale rating that you just gave yourself. Okay, so you have rated yourself on the scale. You've chosen a word that you feel like best matches what you're currently feeling in this moment. And so for some people, you may find it helpful to let other people know how you're feeling. So if you feel like it would be healing, helpful, therapeutic to leave in the description what you're feeling, maybe if it's just the emoji that you used or the word that you chose from the Wheel of Emotions. Or maybe you want to share that with someone in real life as well, like a loved one, a partner, a friend. That way you can kind of talk about how you're feeling, even if it is that you're feeling really good today and you want to share that with someone. That's also totally fine. So if this is your first time here or you've seen another reading of mine, this channel is a space for you so that you can feel safe, seen, heard, and understood. And I can't forget to feel comfortable as well. So, this is the perfect time to go and grab a drink, whether a hot or cold beverage, a coffee, a tea, some water, or something else entirely. You can take this time to make sure that you take care of you emotionally and physically as well. Hi, Pile One. Welcome to your reading today. So, today's theme for your reading is messages from your future self. So, I'm hoping that this reading will be both confirmation of what you are experiencing, that way you feel seen, heard, and understood, but also, too, that you may get some insight that you feel like really connects with you, like with your morals, your values, your beliefs. So before I even get into what I'm picking up from these cards, the first thing I want to say for you guys is for the message, I definitely think it's important to mention that take what you feel like you already believe to be true. So as I kind of speak here, I don't want to give the impression that I know better for you guys than you guys know for yourself. I trust that all of you guys know yourself better than anyone else, that you are an expert on you. And again, that's why I do these readings. I really hope that they are confirmation. So as I kind of talk here, I'm going to do my best to word everything in a way that really makes it clear that this is for confirmation. But I just kind of wanted to reiterate that before we got into it. So let's get into it. We have two cards that are themed for this reading for you guys, and then we will go ahead and pull extra cards as we go along. So the cards that you guys have is Not For You, and then we also have Air. With the Air card here, this is all about an essence of something being with you for a long time. So this could be like, a job that you had for a long time. This could be a relationship that you've been in a long time. This could be a career path that you've been going down for a very long time. This could be mindsets, beliefs, thoughts, behaviors that you've had for a very long time. But whatever this is that we're going to discuss in this reading, the air card talks about it being here for a long while now. So for the Not For You card, you know, in the saying of the card Not For You, that kind of gives a very clear essence of what it's talking about. So whatever this thing is that you have in mind currently as you've come to this reading, or that will come to mind as we continue on, this card is really talking about in the future looking back and saying, okay, I understand why this thing wasn't for me, and either why I walked away from this thing, or if this is dealing with another person, and this person has walked away, understanding why this person needed to walk away. So the Not For You card oftentimes will talk about, if we're talking about relationships here, talking about a relationship that is not suited for us. So, it will say things like trying not to ignore red flags that we see and walking away when things aren't suited for us. If we're finding that, let's say for a job, if you're finding that it's not purposeful and it's draining you, and, there's another route that you can go that you may be nervous about, but you really feel drawn to, kind of going that route and allowing what's no longer working to kind of go into the past. But essentially saying that whatever this thing is that you really want to work, but you have been getting signs in one way or another, whatever that kind of looks like for you, whether that is gut instincts, noticing red flags, or if you believe in a higher power and with your connection to that higher power, feel like you're getting signs about something not being for you. The Not For You card is kind of saying, yes, like in this reading, we want to acknowledge that. That way you kind of feel like you have that confirmation of that. So let us pull some extra cards. That way we can get a bit into it. So I do want to get this card, the patterns card. It says, be aware of dating patterns. Stop what doesn't work. Subliminals change subconscious patterns. Yeah, so exactly. So kind of like taking note, and I feel like you guys are, probably already doing this anyway, but taking note of those things that maybe when you first started talking to this person, you kind of noticed, but because you felt enamored with them, you may have said, oh, it's not a big deal. But now in the relationship, it may be really bothering you. You may be finding that you guys really aren't as a good match as you thought previously, or maybe you didn't think that you guys were a good match. So for example, like say you got into a dynamic with someone as like friends with benefits, right? And in time, you guys were like, hey, like we should date. And eventually you kind of figured out, like, I really do like this person, but I feel like we're too mismatched for this relationship to work. So maybe you want kids and they don't want kids. Maybe they want to get married and you don't want to get married. Maybe you want to live in the country and they want to live in the city. Whatever those things are that are like really important to one or the other person that doesn't match up with the other partner. This is kind of bringing that to light as well. But also too with the unconscious or sorry, subconscious patterns, what beliefs, morals, and values do you feel like don't match up? Because I think sometimes too that can bring a lot of headache in dynamics. So this doesn't necessarily mean that we think that the other person is a bad person, but we may just acknowledge the fact that we don't match up in places that you may find very important for you to match up with your partner. So again, you know, do you guys both want kids? Do you guys both want to get married? How do you guys want that marriage to look? What kind of relationship do you want? Is monogamy important to the both of you, or is an alternative type of relationship important? Are you someone who's into swinging and you want your partner to be into that? Are you into certain sexual activities and you want a partner who's into that? All of these certain like nuances within relationships. But I think again, this reading bringing all of these things up to say, are you feeling like this person isn't for you? And why? And being able to kind of say a little bit clearer what those things are that you feel like don't match up. That way you feel much more confident in any decision that you decide moving forward. So, maybe you do decide to stay with this person in the future, and you'll be able to kind of stand on that decision more confidently because you were able to say, hey, you know what? I don't think that we match in these areas, and I don't think we match in these areas, but these aren't deal breakers for me. Or vice versa, you say, I don't think we match in these areas, and these are definitely deal breakers. Or you're able to compromise on certain things. But either way, this kind of giving you an opportunity to, again, get clear on the reasons that you will make any decision in the future, and be able to look back confidently on that decision. Anything else for relationships for pile one? Okay. So, baggage. Not letting go, hanging on to past hurts/issues, identify and heal patterns that impact relationships. So, this card can come up for any of my lovely people here who may be dealing with codependency issues, fear of abandonment. I will put my hand in to say that has been me before. There is no judgment there. Our upbringings, our life experiences will lead us to behave in certain ways. And so, we can't control those things, especially initially when we're not aware of them. And as we become more aware, we do our best to try and make changes and adapt, and, to make the best of those situations. But definitely talking about those things and how it may have impacted a relationship, how it may have impacted you wanting to be in a relationship, or even impacted you being fearful of leaving, feeling like, if I leave, there won't be someone else. If I leave, I won't find love again. The Not For You card also talks about not only leaving a dynamic or a situation or a relationship that isn't for us, but also saying that in leaving, we open up the space to find something that is for us, right? Because now there's this open space, and we have made note of certain red flags in the dynamic that we've left, so we can now not repeat that. And whichever person comes in next, we'll have another opportunity to learn more about ourselves, learn more about what we value in relationships and what we don't value in relationships, and ultimately experience an improved type of relationship. So what else for pile one? All right, so we have the guarded heart, lingering trust issues, fear from past hurts, love can't get through that wall, forgive and let go. See, I feel like that's really just what we were talking about. Like, is there an experience that you've had either with a past loved one, with friends, with strangers, with parents, whatever the case may be? For some of my pile ones here, there have been situations that have made it really hard for you to open up in dynamics, or this could be the person that you're with, and so maybe you have been thinking, this person seems really guarded off. I'm not really able to access them in the way that I would like to, and maybe that's something that's really important to you, and you may be getting to a point where you're saying, you know what, I really do care about this person, but I can't stay in a dynamic where I don't feel loved because this person is incapable of doing that because of their past hurts or their experiences or their upbringing, or vice versa. Maybe you're feeling like I need to take some time to heal, to grow, so that I can give better access to my partners, be more vulnerable with my partners. Um, but again, we also have fear from past hurts. So I feel like that is again related to like fear of abandonment, fear of, what if I don't find someone? What if this doesn't improve? And let's get one more card. Splitsville. Wow. Y'all saw me do this, right? Splitsville. Leaving quickly slash decisively. The relationship is devolving or ending, not keeping in touch, time alone. So, yeah, you guys, again, this reading is for confirmation, not to tell you what to do. But if this is where your mind has been, um, you may see this card as confirmation of, okay, this may be the time that I decide to leave. This may be the thing that is best for me. And I, just needed some confirmation. I needed to hear a message that made it a bit more clear as to why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, or just reiterated why you were feeling what you were feeling. We did also talk about career, right? So if you are at a job that you feel like is not suited for you, or there is a career path that you are really interested in, this reading is definitely coming to say that you can trust your gut instinct to know what is best for you. You came to a random reading with a random person being myself, chose a pile that spoke to your specific situation. That's a lot of coincidences, right? Like at that point, I'm just gonna say, you guys have really good intuition, right? Like I hope you agree that you guys have good intuition. So trust yourself to know, when a job is not a good fit, or when you need to make a change within a job. Maybe you stay at the same company or stay within the same field, but you make some change that makes it a better fit for you. So whatever this may be, just know that you can trust your gut instinct with this. And if this is, general life challenges, again, in the same way that we kind of talk about the relationship things here, just know that again, you can trust your intuition, you can trust your gut. The things that you have experienced in life really do give you great clues as to what are good fits and what aren't good fits. And whenever you feel confused about that, you can always lean back onto what are your morals, what are your values, what are your needs, what are your wants, and really using the knowledge of those four things to draw on when making decisions. Because sometimes we have to choose between two really hard decisions or two really crappy decisions, but when we're clear on those four things, it can make it a little bit easier to say, you know what, choice A is much better because it matches up with me a lot more than choice B. So I hope that you guys found that helpful. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you guys to share this message. I hope that you found this confirming again of what you've been experiencing, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye, Pile 1. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading today. All about what messages your future self would give you regarding what's going on in your life currently. So, we have some cards here that are the central theme, central message that they would give. And then we're going to draw some extra cards to get some additional messages, additional clarification. So, let's get right into it. So, we have the first card here. This is from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. It is To the Sea. Okay. So this card is all about going with the flow and letting go of control in areas of our life where we feel like we have really been trying to steer the course of something very strongly. So, for example, if this is career, right, this could be talking about letting go control in a way in which you allow your creativity to flow a bit more, to allow yourself to create rather than to constantly be criticizing your work, for example. Just allowing yourself to do more of the imaginative part versus the part that is very like control, structure, plan, those sorts of things. If this is talking about relationships, to the C will really be speaking about letting go of control in relationships so that we allow ourselves to enjoy our partner more, to have more fun with our partner, to connect more with our partner, with like hobbies, activities, the things that you guys have in common, allowing each other to share your opinions, your thoughts in a way where the other person isn't being refrained from being themselves, just things like that. So let's see what other cards we have here. So we have the water card, we have imagination, and we have moon. So yeah, with the moon and the water card here, again, it's giving the same feeling. It's giving, I'm sorry. It's giving the same feeling of to the sea, because you see this is a lot of like water energy. So a lot of going with the flow. And I know that that is a very like non-concrete concept, right? Like it's not as practical as saying make a plan, do this on day one, do this on day two, do this on day three. But I think also like that is the point of this reading for you guys today, to say that yes, there is still a place for planning, but also you may be needing a bit more spontaneity. You may be needing a bit more fun, a bit more of hobbies, a bit more of the carefree side of things to really enjoy what it is that you have in your life right now. With this moon card here, I want to say that for you guys, where this reading relates to your emotional health, your mental health, things like that, it's really talking about in the future looking back and realizing that you have really learned the skill of allowing your emotions to go with the tides of life. I think that is the best way I can explain it. Where you are able to experience the highs, right? You know, joy, excitement, surprise, hopefulness, um, anticipation, those sorts of things. But also, too, that you recognize that, okay, these are highs, but emotions are on a spectrum. And so, inevitably, at some point, I will experience a low emotion or an unpleasant emotion, and that you have developed the skills to ride that emotion as well. But also, too, that you develop the skills to ride the high emotions, because I don't know about you guys, but I at least know for myself, when I first began to get some of the skills I needed to experience emotions, I had difficulty experiencing positive emotions or pleasant emotions as well as unpleasant emotions. So, you know, that could be an experience that you guys are having as well, where you figured out, or you are figuring out now, how to experience joy, how to experience hope, and not have it be so overwhelming that it is an issue for you. But as well with this moon card, it definitely talks about, you know, your thoughts, your emotions, your pleasures, the things that you may be uncertain about as well, whether that is conscious to you or unconscious to you. But all of these things having an essence of a flow to it. So our thoughts coming and going, being high and being low again, emotions doing the same thing, things that bring you pleasure, so your likes and dislikes, and those things changing, your needs and your wants, and you know, the things that you want to try, the things that you know you don't want to try, and then things that you're just not sure about, those things also sometimes changing. So, you know, a lot of this for you guys is really, really, really talking about who are you in this present moment? Where have you held on to things not being free flowing, and now letting go of that control so that things can flow a lot freer? And, you may be saying, well, okay, I already know that, Jen. Like, I already know that I need to let go some of the control. How the hell do I let go? And I want to say, I think oftentimes it's the skills that we learn, right? Like, I know that, at least for me, I've come across a lot of readings or, a lot of just content, a lot of people talking and sharing their opinions, and they make it sound really easy, as if mindset in and of itself is enough. I think sometimes skills are what we need, right? And we don't just automatically out of the blue know these skills. We learn these skills. We come across reputable sources like therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists and, researchers who have evidence based skills that we can use that will allow us to, for example, here, be more free flowing in areas where we feel like we're very controlled, or very much looking for control because we fear the lack of that control, or we fear the consequences, or what may take place in a situation if we don't keep control, right? Many of us feel like, and again, I've been in at least this space before, what I'm going to talk about, where I have felt like if I don't keep control in this space, I'm going to end up being unhappy, right? And I think, at least for me, what I really needed was to leave that space so that I could find something that was actually a match instead of trying to be controlling to make that person a match, right? Because the truth was, I couldn't change that person. But in hindsight, I do know now that I was trying to control that, relationship, for example, and I know why. So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. All right, so let us get some more information for you guys here. So, I want to let's pull some relationship cards first, and then I'll use this deck here that I literally love. I like use it in almost every single reading. Alright, so can we get some clarifying relationship cards? Alright, so we have missed opportunity, regret from former relationship. Wasn't I just talking about that, y'all? Don't run if it feels right. Risk of loss. Communication is imperative. OMG. Is this not everything? Is this not everything that we've been talking about? So, for one, if you're worried that you're going to miss out on something, you may just miss out on it if you don't let a little bit of control go, right? I You'll know if you know. You'll know if you know. But the regret from former relationship, this could be, if you guys relate to what I was just saying from my personal experience, this could be, talking about feeling like, damn, like I wish I didn't try to control this person as much. Don't run if it feels right is saying that this doesn't have to be that a relationship isn't a good fit. This could just be, again, if we let go of a little bit of control, we'll allow ourselves to enjoy this a little bit more. There will be more spontaneity that will make this relationship more exciting, and things like that. A risk of loss if we don't allow ourselves to let go a little bit, and then communication being imperative. So, if you do find that you have some of this fear of loss, that's okay to communicate that to your partner. It's okay to communicate that to, even if this is a friend, uh, um, a, a family member. This could be a lot of different types of dynamics beyond just romantic relationships. Rewrite your story comes into say, how would you like to be? Feel peace now, release. So, what are the things that you feel like you are trying to control? And what is the image of the relationship that you would like to take place, and the reason in which you are trying to control that thing? I really value dynamics in which my partner is very much so punctual. Like, I'm a very much so like quality time type of person. And so I found that around things that dealt with like timing, being punctual, I felt myself trying to exert control in ways that would make that person be more on time, if that made sense. And oftentimes, honestly, there was nothing that I could do to make that other person be more timely, but I still kind of felt that pressure that I was exerting within a relationship. I hope that makes sense. It may not be the best example, but in that example, it at least gives that essence of trying to control something and really not being able to make any headway, because I feel like whatever it is that you guys are trying to control in these dynamics, you're not really seeing the results that you're wanting to see. And so I feel like that's a good example for that experience. Um, but getting clear on, how would you like this relationship to be? So for me, it was, I really need my partners to be on time. I need them to not cancel on me last minute frequently. I know here and there things come up, but if it is, every time we try to get together, or majority of the time we try to get together, like 80% of the time I get canceled on, or you're really late, then I know that this is probably not going to be a relationship that's going to work with me. And I need to just allow myself to step away to find something that feels like a better fit for something that's just super important to me. So, what is it that you're looking for? Is it, punctuality? Is it spontaneity? Is it a match within the religion that you share with your partner? Is it family values? Is it X, Y, Z? Whatever that thing is for you, what are you looking for? And that will also allow you to kind of free up some of this feeling of needing to control, and being able to also communicate that with your partner. That way you can figure out, is this something that can even take place in this relationship? Being honest with yourself and being honest with the other person. I recognize that it's easier said than done, especially if there is any fear here of loss or fear of abandonment, any of those things, codependency. Not that I'm specifically picking that up in this relationship, but you specifically will know, if there are other things that make it really hard to say, all right, let me step away. So let me use this last deck here. I want to use this one actually, and then we'll wrap up pile two. All right. So we have soften. So the soften card here is, again, I feel like it is reiterating if we're able to just ease up just a little bit, right? Like, it's not gonna be night and day. Don't worry, guys. I'm not telling you to be night and day. And I think you guys recognize as well that these things take time, even when we're trying to learn how to, lighten up on our control. It takes time, right? But you guys are softening up in that area, and your future self is coming in to let you know that we notice. Flow, exactly how, the to the sea card is, and the moon card that we had here, as well as the I believe you had the water card. So you guys in the future will be able to look back and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm able to go with the flow." Like, it's a lot easier for you guys to recognize what it is that you want, speak that into existence, speak about it with the people that you interact with. That way, it's already clear. It's already clear what you do and don't want, and there's no desire or need to feel like you need to change someone or control someone, because you knew what you wanted, you shared that information, you were clear about it, and then you know everything else just comes with ease. There was a card here that I saw flipped over. Fear. So for any of my lovely people here in this reading, don't beat yourself up if you feel like you have some fear and hesitancy about these conversations, because we do recognize that, you may share with someone, the importance about one thing or another. And that could lead to you deciding that, you know what, I need to leave this dynamic because it's not a good fit for me. I'm not going to get what I need here or what I want here. And so this card is saying that in this present moment, you may be having some fear about that. And it's okay to be experiencing that emotion about a situation like this. Fear of loss is an emotion, is an experience, right? But as well, recognizing that the fear of loss is not the same thing as, staying in a dynamic with the knowledge that we're not going to get what we want here. We are unhappy here. And because of that, we're trying to be controlling. Those sorts of things. And as well, again, no judgment. It is what it is, right? Like, we are doing our best in every present moment with the knowledge that we have and the skills that we have. Voice, again, reiterating, we've decided to speak up, to speak to our partner, to discuss with them what we need, what we want. And also, if this is your partner also sharing with you what they need and what they want, because this doesn't have to necessarily be one-sided. Maybe your partner, you have had them share with you that they've also had some element of trying to control certain things because they fear losing the relationship, losing you. So yeah, that is all that we have for you guys. I Before I let you go, I have some self forgiveness cards I want to pull. I want to pull, have one come out because I think sometimes there is a need, or not a need, but sometimes it's helpful for us to forgive ourselves. Um, because again, we're doing the best that we can with the skills and the knowledge that we have. And so, as the future comes to become the present, sometimes we feel like we need to give ourselves a hug. We need to forgive ourselves. We need to let it be okay that in the past we weren't able to make a decision that we're now able to make. It says, I forgive myself for expecting others to be for me what I have found difficult to be for myself. I choose to believe that I have the ability to be for myself all that I need, and when I embody those aspects of myself, life shares with me more than I felt was available to me. So, if some of you guys have found that you are in relationships because you're afraid to be alone, or you feel like you need another person to give something to you that in the future you'll feel like you really should have been giving to yourself, just know that future you is going to be able to forgive yourself for whatever that may be. And again, it takes time to make changes. It takes time to recognize the things that we feel like we want to change. It takes time to recognize that something doesn't feel good so that we can get to a point of wanting to change it. Just things take time. So I hope that you will be gentle with yourself, caring with yourself, compassionate with yourself. And I know 100% that you guys are doing your best. And I appreciate you allowing me to be here to share this message with you guys. I hope that you found it as confirmation of what you've been experiencing. And I will see you guys in your next reading. Bye, Pal 2. Hi, Pal 3. Welcome to your reading today, all about messages from your future self. So we have some essential themed cards for you guys that will be like the main message. And then we're going to add more cards to get more information, to get more in detail as we go along. So let's get right into it. So the first card we have here is regeneration. And I want to read this card straight from the book because I love the very like direct and clear message that it gives. So endings come in many forms, and now is the time to stop holding on to what must die so that something better can take its place. Nature's cycles include disease, decay, death, and regeneration. Let whatever isn't working in your life die. Don't be afraid to face the facts. There is no need to struggle or grieve. Whatever your query, let it go. You're about to be reborn. And so, two things I want to say about that card before we continue. It's okay to cry about it. I know the book just alluded to kind of making it seem like you should just go about your business, but no, we are humans. We have emotions. We experience emotions about the things that happen to us in our life. So if you need to cry about something, whatever you need to emotionally do, know that it's okay to do that. Um, but this card is talking about something that you feel like is in your life that is needing to come to an end, that you may be putting up a fight against coming to an end, but in your gut instinct, intuitively, you feel like this thing needs to have an ending. Like it's not healthy for you anymore. It's not good for you anymore, whatever that thing may be. So let's talk about it a little bit. So we have simplicity, gentleness, and we have individuation. So let's talk about individuation first, because with individuation, the first thing that I'm getting is someone who wants to be a certain type of person, wants to express their personality in a specific type of way. This could be a very like soft, gentle type of persona, or maybe that is a persona that people expect of you, and you want to do something that is very what people would consider out there, but for you, it's not out there. Like, this is what you like, that is the style you'd like to dress. Um, Along those lines, and I feel like individuation is coming in to say that it's okay to be unique, it's okay to be different, even when we have people being naysayers. Regeneration, that card too, talking about endings, could also be talking about people kind of making it feel like you shouldn't be doing something when for many things that we say should or should not really don't really fall into that realm, because it's up to you. It's up to you. How you dress is up to you. How you present, it's up to you, right? Like, that's for you to decide. With the simplicity card here, this is really talking about something that feels very natural to you, something that, again, feels very much like you. Again, this could be so many things. Oh my gosh, how many times am I going to say again? Should we do a counter? Sorry. But yeah, like, this is something that is natural to you because it feels like you. Like, and although, you may not have done this in the past, that doesn't mean that this new thing, this change that you want to make isn't also you. Like, we as humans change throughout time. Change is like one of those things that we can always count on happening. So, yeah, maybe you were really into this one thing in the past and that has changed, and you're into this new thing. And if people in your life are having an issue with that, well, that sounds like a personal issue. Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying to be funny today, but yeah, that's not your problem, right? Like, again, this is really you just trying to be you and all of its newness. Like, yeah. And this gentleness card for you guys is all about acceptance, connection, love, and care. And I feel like this is all of those things for you, all of those things that you've given yourself. So this is you accepting yourself for who you are, or who you are wanting to now share with the world. This could be you having a greater connection to self because you are finding a safe space within you to express yourself, express certain aspects of yourself. This is self love for you, self compassion, self care, in whatever ways that looks like. This could be not just like the ways in which we physically express ourselves, but this could be new hobbies, new careers that match up with us, leaving relationships that don't match us to find ones that do. Um, just a lot of things that make you unique in a certain way. Like, for some of us, again, this is clothes. Some of us, this is the type of people that we date. Or for some of us, these are our mindsets, our thoughts, our belief patterns, our behaviors, our habits, whatever that is, there is an an essence of here allowing the old things that you no longer feel like suit you so that the new things can come in, and loving yourself through that newness in spite of what anyone externally may think or say about those things, because your opinion really matters most in this arena. So let's get some more cards here. So we have visible. We'll get two more and then we'll talk about it. Divine. And one more, please. Oh, I just want one more. So we're going to put these all back because I just want one. But brave was here, as if that needs to be said. Pile 3. Okay. So we have ritual. All right, so with visible, this may be something again that other people can see. And so maybe for some of my pile 3s, that has made it be an additional difficulty for you guys. So um, let's give an example of like if this has to deal with sexual identity and wanting to date people who align with that sexual identity, but in doing so, it would make it very clear to friends or family members or your community about your sexuality. And so that brings a level of difficulty in trying to navigate that space. Um, with the divine card, this is talking about trusting your gut for what you feel like is and isn't for you, because sometimes we get a lot of outside chatter telling us what we should or shouldn't do, what is or what isn't okay. And that makes it very hard for us to get clear on those things. So, but I've had people tell me that I'm afraid of commitment because that is my preference for relationship styles. And so you may be experiencing something certain where people are telling you, oh, well, you have this issue and you're this and you're that because it's something different than what they see for themselves. And it's like, well, there's not one way of doing things. There's not one way of being. There's not one way of thinking about something. So why is it that because you now want to do something different, it's a problem, but if I do things your way, then that's correct? That sort of like feeling I get with the divine card. So pile 3, really know that you know yourself better than anyone else. And in those moments where people are making you question that, please know that you can trust your gut for what feels right and doesn't feel right, what feels like a good fit, and what doesn't feel like a good fit. With the ritual card coming in here, really talking about practicing the things that feel good to you and not practicing the things that don't feel good to you. That way, you kind of can settle into this really cemented feeling of who you want to be. So, if we go back to like my example of like relationship styles, right? Or even like sexual identity. Um, if you know that you want to date a specific type of person, right? Dating that type of person so that you can continue to feel like the joy and pleasure of that type of dynamic. And then experiencing the joy and pleasure of dynamic, it makes it a lot easier for you to acknowledge when other people's opinions are false, and the fact that you know yourself better than what other people are trying to tell you about yourself. I hope that makes sense. So, you know, personal example again, when I had people telling me that I had commitment issues because I preferred polyam relationships, and I let myself believe what they were saying. I was literally trying to work through a problem I did not have. When I tell you I was getting nowhere, because the issue wasn't with me, the issue was that we wanted different things, me and this other person. And I really just needed to allow myself to experience the type of relationship that I wanted, that felt good for me. That way, I could really feel confident in that decision and that change in that part of myself. So, so let's get into the rest of the reading here. So I want to pull some relationship specific cards. That way, if you are here specifically for relationships, we can talk about it. So let us get one card at a time, please. Thank you. All right, so we have Mr. or Miss Fix It. Oh my goodness, this is the other external person, okay? Don't try to fix others. Heal yourself to attract best partner. People pleasing, trust the process. So, if there are other people again who are trying to fix you, trying to tell you who you should be, what you should be, how you should be doing stuff, please know it's not a you problem, it's a them problem. They are so stuck in their opinions of how the world is supposed to look, how the world is supposed to be, how people are supposed to be, how they want to experience life, that they're not even allowing themselves to see that you're not happy doing what they want to do. You need to be able to do what you want to do, what you need to do, what's best for you. Yeah, don't try to fix others. You're not broken. You're just different, and different isn't bad. You fix things that are broken, and you are, my dear, not broken. All right, any more cards? Inner work. Heal yourself. You'll attract what you are. Choose partners that want to grow with you. I feel like this is for not you, but the other person again. Like, some people need to do their own work to accept themselves. But also too, sometimes people just aren't open minded enough to allow other people to be different from them. Um, so you may just have to push against the grain, which is very unfortunate, obviously, because I think it is much easier when we have people in our inner circle, in our family, our friends, who are open minded and accepting, especially when we make life changes that we really need. Um, but sometimes that isn't the case, and you know, this card could be talking about that as well. And then we have leaving space. Give yourself time to heal. Right one can't come if the wrong one is there. Clear a drawer from them for them. So maybe you again say, like, if this is a relationship that is not a good fit for you, maybe you guys are very mismatched, or you're not able to express this new person that you are. This could be talking about leaving that dynamic. That way you can experience what you're really looking for. So if say that you identify as lesbian or gay, and you're dating someone of the opposite sex, and you are struggling to kind of leave that dynamic, um, but this card is kind of talking about, as best as you can, as safe as it is for you to do so, to leave space for the other person. And lastly, we have Splitsville, leaving quickly, decisively. The relationship is devolving or ending, not keeping in touch, time alone. So yeah, again, just the same thing for those of you guys who are um, thinking of leaving a relationship, um, or just simply need time to yourself to be like, is this for me? Is this not for me? All right, and then let us get some of these here, some oracle cards. This one, self love. So yeah, you guys, do whatever care you need to do. Do you need a hot shower? Do you need to fall into your hobbies a bit more? Do you need to lean on friends or family members? Do you need to lean on medical professionals like therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, those sorts of things? Different help groups, and then letting go. Yeah, because some of you guys may be going through a grieving process, especially with these tears here and the letting go. Um, Because although you know something may not be good for you anymore or suited for you anymore, that doesn't mean that you're not going to miss that thing. Maybe some of you are experiencing missing what could have been, or just grieving, yeah, grieving the loss of something, right? When we lose something, grief is a natural emotion. And so you may be experiencing that and going through that, and trying to give yourself the space to experience that. All right, pile three. So I want to say thank you. But one last, I wanted to do a self forgiveness oracle card. So in the future, what will you be, or even now, like what are you forgiving yourself about? I forgive myself for not asking for what I want out of fear that I may be rejected if I ask for more. I choose to believe that when I wholeheartedly accept the consequences of voicing my truth, the changes that ensue ultimately support the fulfillment of my truest desires. Wow. So, pile three, it's never easy to speak about, or I don't want to say never, but there are instances where it can be very difficult to speak out about what we want, what we need in life, what we're looking for. But please know that your future self is saying that there will be a time, if not already, that you are able to forgive yourself for ever staying in a situation out of fear that you would be rejected if you changed for what you really wanted to be, what you really wanted to experience. And also knowing that when you finally get to the stage where you're able to, even though you know you may lose something, step away from it to get that thing that you are really desiring, really needing, that you will experience the fulfillment and support and the completion of your desires that you've been looking for up until this point. So, pile three, know that you have something positive to look forward to. So, thank you, Pile 3, for being here with me and allowing me to share these messages with you. I hope that you found this as confirmation of what you've been experiencing, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye, Pile 3. Hi, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading today, all about messages from your future self. So, we have some cards here that are the main theme of this reading for you guys, and then we're going to go ahead and pull more cards as we go along to get into even more detail. So, the first card you guys have here is Why. So, this Why card is asking you to ask yourself why. Like, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why do I think this? Why do I behave in this way? Why do I like this? Why do I not like this? What are my thoughts about this? Why am I in this relationship? Why am I at this job? Why do I have these friends? That sort of thing. Okay, so it's asking you to be introspective in some sense about something that usually is either not feeling like a good fit or it feels like a good fit, but you're not clear in why it feels like a good fit. But we're gonna get some more details that way we can figure out which side are most of you guys kind of falling on, the good fit or the not so good fit side. So we have here Damon and we have Threshold. So for most of my pile fours, sorry, I think I may have called you guys pile three by accident. Um, for most of my pile fours here, you guys fall on the not feeling so good side maybe, because the Demon card really talks about things that keep you kind of locked in a way. Like this card reminds me of the Devil card in the tarot decks, because there is an aspect of being bound in some way, usually because of something that is unconscious to us. So we can't put words to it. We can't label a feeling or label, the certain mindset. We just know that there is a behavior or a habit that's taking place, that is keeping us stuck in some way that we're feeling. But the threshold card comes in to say that you are really on the precipice of, or kind of like on that line right before you go into being conscious about whatever this thing is that is causing trouble for you. So, you know, while in this present moment, you may feel like you don't really know how to get out of something or change something or make a circumstance different or get out of a relationship or leave a job, because you don't quite understand what's keeping you there. You are moving into a space where you're going to be able to bring the unconscious reasons into light for yourself. And so this is something that you're doing for you. And the way in which you're doing it is because you've begun to ask why. Why am I here? Why haven't I left if this doesn't feel good? Asking those sorts of questions. Let us get some more information because I want to get as detailed, because this could be a lot of different things. And so um, if we can ask why together in this space, I'm hoping that, it'll give you some confirmation and make this transition a little bit easier for you. So we have integration. We get one more card, please. And we have truth. Okay. So pile fours. Some of you guys are not wanting to look at the reality of how something is making you feel. There's no judgment here for that. But for some of you guys, you are in spaces where you don't feel good and you are not admitting to yourself that you don't feel good. And because of that, you're not able to say consciously, like, I don't feel good in this space, and that's why I want to leave, and so that's why I will leave. And instead, you're in this space, in this relationship, at this job, with these habits that make you feel really shitty, but it just continues to be shitty, because there's some hesitance, some fear about acknowledging how you are feeling in that space. And so we have the truth card here really saying, when you do get to that point where you feel able to be honest with just you, right? Like, you don't have to share this with anyone else. You don't have to let other people know your innermost, deepest thoughts. This is just between you, right? Just between you saying, okay, how do I feel? Why do I feel this way? What do I want to do about it, right? And you can decide to not do anything about it. But there is this feeling here of just needing to know the full extent of everything so that when you make a decision or don't make a decision, it feels really grounded in knowing, right? Grounded in, I had all the information, I had all of the knowledge that I needed to make a decision, and then I chose to make this decision, and letting that decision be what it is. Also, too, what I want to say is, this isn't for everybody, but I do feel like for some, with the snake here, there may be information that you aren't being given, and that is making it difficult to make a decision because this isn't you not being honest fully with yourself, but someone outside of yourself not being honest. So here's an example, and again, this is only for certain people. You will know if this is you. Um, Say, for example, you suspect that the person you're with is being unfaithful, but you don't have evidence to back it up, and so you aren't able to make a move in the relationship because you kind of feel like you need that evidence. And because this person isn't being honest about it, then you kind of get stuck in this space, right? Or if you're at a job and you feel like your boss is being kind of two-faced or shisty in some type of way, but it's not something that is very like outward and obvious, yet still you feel it, then it makes it very hard for you to decide, do I want to leave this job, Is how I'm feeling in this space just me, or, is it really my management? Like I'm feeling like those sorts of things. So that's just for some, okay? Let's see what else we can get here. What are the whys that we should be looking at? If you guys hear noise in the background, it's the kitties. They are up now. They let me do 3 readings while they took a nap. Or I guess slept. That's a long nap. All right. All right, and then we have unlimited possibilities. So this card is coming in to say when one thing is gone, in comes another, because the threshold card with the Daemon card is really wanting to say when you gain awareness of something that is not working for you, it's going to open up spaces. Sorry, guys, the cat just jumped on the table. It's going to open up spaces where you feel like it is a good fit for you, okay? So, if you are fretting, if you are worried, that's normal. Obviously, don't feel like you have to change, the natural experience of emotions that you're having. But do know that, if you decide to make a change, that there are places, people, spaces for you that will be a good fit when you leave a space that may no longer feel like a good fit. All right. So let us get some relationship cards here, okay? So let us do some relationship specific for those of us here who feel like this relates specifically to relationships. All right, so for pile 4, please. All right, we have Splitsville. Leaving quickly, decisively, the relationship is devolving or ending, not keeping in touch, time alone. And then we also have fake profile, liar, scammer, creeper alert, do a background check, not genuinely interested, not who you think. So that is confirmation for that message that was just for some of you guys where something seems off, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Most likely, because of, again, this threshold card, there is going to be something that you come across that will give you the information that you're needing to make the choice that you have been indecisive about, simply because you didn't have that piece of information. And Splitsville being related to this in a sense of, because of that, you may choose to leave once you have this information. Or if it's not something as, sinister as this, where someone is being dishonest, maybe they're a decent person, but you are deciding to leave because you've asked yourself, why am I here? And it's not the reasons that you want to be in a relationship. And so you leave to find a relationship where you are there for the reasons that you want to be. Anything else for relationships? All right, nope, not from here. All right, so the last card that I would like to do for you guys is a self-forgiveness card, okay? Because oftentimes, I don't want to say oftentimes, but sometimes we can forget that we are doing the best that we can in the moment with the knowledge and the skills that we have. And so sometimes we're a bit hard on ourselves. But, as the future kind of comes around, we can look back and say, hey, you know what? I was doing the best. And that, I did the best I could in that situation. So let's get a self-forgiveness card just to see where can we be a little compassionate with ourselves, or where maybe we want to forgive ourselves a bit. So we're just going to get one card that comes out of the deck. So the first one says, I forgive myself for believing that in order to be successful, I must sacrifice rest. I choose to believe that when I take time to pause and welcome a renewed perspective, life makes time for me. We also have, I forgive myself for creating attachments to the promises they made and could not keep. I choose to believe that the promises that are not fulfilled are life's attempt to move me to a place where greater growth and love are awaiting me. So definitely, I feel like this green card definitely reiterates some of this. Fake profile card, the Splitsville card, some of what we talked about. We develop attachments to people that we're in relationships with, and it's gonna make it really hard to step away. Um, but you're starting to feel out where life is trying to move you into a space that is better for you from your perspective, from your opinion, um, and is more fulfilling, allows for healthier growth, allows for you to feel at peace. And just know that however long this takes, it's okay to take the time that you did. Again, there's no, I can come here and give a message of confirmation. That does not mean that, okay, today you need to make that change, or this week, this month, this hour, tomorrow you need to make this change. That's not for me to decide. Each person has their own timeline, and change takes a while. Like, there's the mental aspect, and then, trying to act it out and make behavior changes. And, it's cyclical. We may, make one step forward and take two steps back, but in the two steps back, we've learned a lot about ourselves and how to, make that change stick a little bit better when we do take another step forward. So, just to the best of your ability, giving yourself grace and knowing that you are doing your best. Even if other people would like you to believe elsewise, please know that I know that you are doing your best. So thank you, Paul, for allowing me to do this reading. I hope that you did find it confirming what you have been experiencing, and I will see you in your next reading. Bye, guys.